Street. Can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street?
Oh, hey guys. Just off at the grocery store. Apparently that's the new amusement park. It's the only fun thing we get to do every day. And you gotta wait in line to get in. Oh well. So we're gonna do something a little bit different today. We will be heading into the studio. But before we head into the studio, we're gonna head somewhere else first. Follow me, folks. All right, folks. Welcome to my kitchen. So today we're gonna be doing something a little bit different. When you go look at the project number 3, you're gonna see that you're gonna be using stuff out of your kitchen. So you're going to come into your kitchen, you're gonna raid your pantry, your fridge, whatever you have access to. So I'm just gonna show you a few things that I've used. I'm gonna show you how they look on paper in a bit. We have a Coke. Coke works okay. Grape juice works okay. Think of things that will stain your clothes. Soy sauce works really well. Berries, I got some blackberries here. I've used blueberries, you could use raspberries. They don't really look the color after they dry as the berry looks, but they still give you a color. Something else you can use, which is kind of neat, is making your own inks out of spices. So I've got some paprika here, and I've got some turmeric or saffron or curry powder, it's called here. So what we do with that, because it is a dry medium and we want to make it liquid, we're just gonna put a little bit into a bowl. Don't use too much. Ask the people who buy your groceries what you can and cannot use. Some stuff's very expensive, some stuff not so much. And please don't be more wasteful than you need to be. You don't want to put a lot of the powders in because you're just making small batches of the ink. And then from there, you just add water slowly until you get sort of the right consistency of like an ink. I'm gonna use a chopstick here to stir this one up. Now the thing with the inks is they will give you sort of a bit of a gritty, grainy bit because the spices won't all dissolve. Those kind of add to your drawing, and I'll show you those once some I've finished. And so here we got the turmeric. Turmeric's actually really nice, gives you a really beautiful like orangey color. Turmeric actually used to be used to dye clothing way back in the day because it is so pungent. So here we go. We got a little bit of a sort of a reddy brown color, and then we got our sort of mustardy yellow. I tried mustard and ketchup, and they didn't work too well. So we're not gonna try those. So let's head to the studio and I'll show you what I've actually done with this stuff, all right? Here we go. Back in the world's smallest art studio. So when you're going about creating your drawings, I've done mine on paper. Watercolor paper is the best because you're getting it pretty wet and mucky. If you don't have watercolor paper, you can try it on cardboard, but you don't have to necessarily do your work on paper. If you look at the samples I've attached to the project, Miss Matheson did hers with a combination of kind of making up inks, but also using like bay leaves and different like spices and herbs to do her drawing. Mr. Hunter put his directly onto a bed of rice as his canvas and kind of did his drawing on top of that with spices. So you can do it actually using the physical materials, or you can transform them into an ink to draw with. That's the method that I've chosen to do. So I've created a bunch of different samples of colors to see what would work the best, and then I've taken the ones I think work the best and made drawings out of those. So I'm going to show you those now. Alright guys, so here's my sample sheet of different materials. So up here I have chili powder spelled incorrectly. You can see it's kind of got this like browny color and it got a texture in there a little bit. And then we have cocoa powder below that. And then we have food coloring, looks great. I only had green. It's very potent. So a little bit will do ya, and whatever colors you have. Coffee, and you can see here how it kind of dries around the edges differently. So you're kind of working with pooling it up and letting it dry. There's some blueberry. I actually use frozen blueberries, so you can see a little bit of the pulp in the color, and it dries a sort of darky, sort of purpley gray. Ketchup didn't work very well. Saffron, the curry powder, worked well. This is soy sauce. It kind of gets like, you can kind of see like the crystallization of it, like the salt sort of starts to crystallize. And then I got cola. And then at the very top there, we got some grape juice. Any kind of juice would work. Obviously, different colors of fruit is going to give you different colors. So what did I do with all of this stuff? So that's the sample of what you can do. I thought that the food coloring and the soy sauce were kind of the most successful, and the saffron. So for my big piece, I did this. Of course, it's another coronavirus. So I did mine with saffron for the yellow. The green is food coloring. It's the only real green ink I could make. I tried using spinach and some herbs, but it just made brown water. It didn't work. And then the background is the blueberry. So you can see the pulp of the blueberry. And I sprinkled some salt on it to see what would happen. It didn't do all that much with the salt. You can see here, once I did the saffron first. And then once it dried, I went over and did the green. But once the wet of the green hit the saffron, it would just start to like flood the whole thing. So I kind of turned it into a happy accident and made those green blob saffrons at the bottom there be like the underneath of the virus, so it's got some shadow to it. So that's what I did for one of my pieces. And then the other piece I did was the what food have you been craving or missing? And so I did some sushi, because a lot of the restaurants aren't really pumping it out. So here's my sushi done with soy sauce, and it's with wasabi and blueberry viruses. So it's a wasabi blueberry sushi roll. I got a few drips on it, so I just turned those drips into little like viruses floating around. It's pretty hard to work with. You have to do it in a lot of layers because it dries weird, and you can see the crystallization on it. Kind of like, that's a nice sort of texture to it. Okay, so that's just an example of some of the stuff I did. So raid your kitchen, see what you can make. All right, so I hope you guys can all find some inks in your house. If you need watercolor paper or any supplies, send me a message and let me know. And there's an opportunity for you guys to pick up at the school next week, I believe, or the week after. I think it's the 13th of May. So in closing, let's go to another dad joke. I got hit in the head with a can of Coke today. I'm fine though. It was a soft drink. Stay golden and maroon, folks.